Just like to offer a big shout out to Touchdown Digital for sponsoring this week's video.
Okay, that looks good there. 16. 16, perfect. Very, very nice. Another job complete. Well, hello everybody, so glad to have you all back here. My name's Glenn Selman and you're watching Sniper Photography. Today I want to talk to you about a subject which I have spoken to you previously on other videos here on this YouTube channel, and that is printing your images. I believe printing your images is probably in the top 5 of how to improve in your photography, and why I think everyone should at least print 1 or 2 of their images after every outing. And in this video today, I'm going to tell you why I think you should be printing your images. So having said that, let's get started. Very happy with that one. Job well done. Well, hi everyone, welcome back. Today's video, as I said earlier, is about printing your images. And the number of people that I hear from that don't print their images is really quite sad, to be quite honest. Now, in the last 6 weeks, I've been lucky enough to be a guest speaker at local photography clubs. So once a week for 6 weeks. So 6 photography clubs in Sydney over a 6-week period, once a week. And I spoke to about 204 people, all up, members of those photography clubs, and very, very good photographers, very, very good. And there's a common denominator with these people in these clubs, and also obviously a lot of other photographers. And you probably think, well, the common denominator is they all like photography. That's why they're in a photography club, and you are correct. However, I always ask this question: put your hands up, how many people here, what do you do with your images when you finish processing them? Now, it was 204 people. Out of 204 people, only 11 people put up their hands and said, well, Glenn, I print my images. And I thought, that's astonishing. That's not really how it should be. So 11 people out of 204 that I spoke to for 90 minutes at a time only print their images. Now, let me explain why I think you should print your images. Now, printing your images is the job complete. It's the final part of the puzzle. And let's face it, most of the people I spoke to, I said, well, if you don't print your images, what do you do? And they either leave them in a Lightroom catalogue or on an internal hard drive on their computer, or an external hard drive, which is a good idea, away from their computer for safety reasons. But who sees them? Who can see the images that they love to take, that they've spent thousands of dollars capturing? And I'll get to that in a moment. But who sees these images? They're locked away on a computer or on the back of a small 30-centimetre computer screen on a laptop, or a 6-inch screen on a mobile phone. That's not really how it should be, quite frankly. You should be very proud of your images and you should show them. Make photo books like I do. Hang prints on your walls around your beautiful home so your family and friends can see them. Be proud of your work. So why do I think it's sad that people don't print their images? Well, let me explain. Let's face the facts here. You've spent thousands of dollars on your cameras, lenses, filters, tripods, camera bags, you name it. You know the gear we've got. You've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on that. You've forsaken quality time with your loved ones, your family, because you've got out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning to drive for 3 hours to capture that elusive sunrise that you've seen somewhere on Instagram. So you've made those sacrifices, both financially and physically and mentally, with your family. You've bashed your way through bush, tea tree, dodging orb weaver spiders just to get to that rock ledge to capture that brilliant sunrise on a nice seascape. You've walked along beaches with wet feet, sand blowing everywhere, in your camera bag, all over your gear, salt spray all over your gear, just so you can capture that image. And you do capture them, I know, I've seen them. But what do you do with them? Who sees all the reward for your efforts besides yourself? Printing is so important with photography. Also too, what about you're filling up your car? Fuel at the moment is $2.15 a litre here. And if you drive a big vehicle or a high performance vehicle like I do, I've got to buy the premium stuff at nearly $3 a litre. I choose to do that, but I enjoy it. So you fill up your vehicle and travel for ages, you're going to go through $40, $50, $60, $70 just to get to and back from your chosen destination, only to have your images taken from that destination locked away in a computer somewhere on a hard drive. It doesn't really make sense. You're going to all this effort and trouble, and you are good at it. I know you are good at it. I've seen everyone's work, but what do you do with them? Photoshop and Lightroom catalogues are great, but they're great for you, not for people that want to see your efforts. So it's very important that you print your images. I, for one, print at least 1 to 2 images after every outing with my camera. And I make a conscious effort of that. Now, in our country, like most countries throughout the world, we have seasons. We have 4 seasons in this country. We have autumn, winter, spring and summer. So every 12 weeks, I've got a different theme hanging on the walls here in the office and studio and in my home here. I've got over 6,500 prints that I alternate between the frames throughout this house, studio and home on a 12-month period. So at the moment we're in autumn, so I'm hanging autumn images up on the walls, and then once winter comes I take those down and put winter images up. Now most seasons go for 3 months. I mean, the climate skeptics might think that doesn't happen, but I probably in a period of 3 months during say autumn, which is now, March, April, May, I'll probably turn over those photos in those frames probably 3 times. Now, I know I'm fortunate that I have people come here quite a lot to visit me. I run a business out of my office here and the studio over there where the printing machines are, and my home as well. But I'm also a JP, a Justice of the Peace here of New South Wales, and people know that and they contact me and they come to my office so I can witness their documents and witness who they are. That's what a JP does in New South Wales. So I've got people coming here all the time, but that's not to say that you can't print your images just because you don't have visitors or guests all the time or business people turning up. At least your family can see them. And I can tell you something now, when you start printing your images and you actually hold that print, like what you've seen on the wall a minute ago, just feel it, smell the paper and look at the image, look at it. That's effort, or a reward for your effort. Okay, so there's something magical about printing your images or having your images printed. Yes, I print my images here. I have 2 printers here, one smaller one for up to A3 size, maybe a little bit bigger. And then I've got the big Epson, which I print huge prints for the gallery here as well. But if you can find a good lab somewhere and strike up a relationship with the owners or the printers of that lab, you can, have some images printed out professionally on really good paper, and you get a choice of how it's color graded as well. So start thinking about printing your images. I find that by printing your images, you're constantly improving, because if you have this mindset where you go out with your camera and you think, well, I've done everything right, I've got the composition right, the lighting's perfect, I know the scene, I pre-visualize what I want. Remember last week's video I was talking about pre-visualization. You're ready to push that shutter, but before you push that shutter button, you say to yourself, this has to be perfect because I'm going to print it out. Now, you're forcing yourself to really learn photography, to really be on top of your game here. And by printing your images, it just helps you greatly. It's in the top 5 as far as I'm concerned of printing of photography, learning photography, and that's printing your images. Whether you do it yourself at home or you have a professional lab do it for you, it's still the end result, and it's the reward for all your effort and your expenditure. I see people spend thousands of dollars on cameras with these high megapixel, high dynamic range camera bodies and lenses only to have their images plastered all over social media. You might as well use your phone because, quite frankly, social media, you could get away with a 5 megapixel camera. You know, so it's a no-brainer really. If you haven't got a website, that's fine. Make a photo book once a year. You know, set a goal, set plans. Like for me, 4 times a year, I've got these plans in place where, okay, it's going to be an autumn shoot, it's going to be a winter shoot. Sunrises and sunsets for me, I believe, are better in winter. In summertime, they're too harsh, too strong. Got to get up way too early to get sunrises in summer because of daylight saving here on the east coast of Australia. So wintertime is when I really capture those sunrises and sunsets, both here in the mountains and along the coast of New South Wales. Autumn is very good for foggy images. So incorporate into your printing your photography plans or goals. You've got to have something to strive for. These people that say, oh, don't take it so seriously, well, that's fine, that's great, that's fine. If that's what floats your boat, go right ahead. But you've spent an enormous amount of money and time on your photography that you only let yourself down and you haven't completed that complete wheel of printing out your images. That is the final step with photography, is printing your images. It's got nothing to do with looking at them on a computer screen. I mean, I have people come here and they see different images all the time. And there's one particular image that captivates people when they come here, even people that have been here 2 or 3 times. And it's an image that I took in the United States, Horseshoe Bend. And I'll put that image at the end of this video. I actually stood on a cliff edge in the desert. It was freezing cold. And to capture that Horseshoe Bend, I knew I had to be at the top of my game because I knew I was going to print it out. And everyone that comes into this home looks at that image. They just stop in their tracks and they say, where was that? That's magnificent. How did you do that? That means the image has worked. Now, if I showed them that image on a computer screen, I wouldn't get that reaction. They look at it for a couple of seconds and then, yeah, that's good, and move on. But for your images to really work, you need to have your images on display for people to see, even for yourself to see. And it's very gratifying when you get out of bed of a morning and you walk through your home and you see all your photos on the walls and you think, oh, I remember that day, that was fantastic. And it keeps the enthusiasm going. So it's so important, so important. If you're not printing your images, I strongly suggest that you print your images and be proud of what you're doing. As I said, you've spent lots of money, you've climbed through the bush over sand dunes, you've got salt all over you, you're dodging spiders and snakes, you're tripping over, you're falling over, you've got leeches all over you, you're slipping and sliding through waterfalls. Only to have your images, your beautiful images that you've worked so hard for, only to sit on a computer screen in a Lightroom catalogue? Please, that's not the way to go, folks. Start printing your images to improve your photography. So I thought I'd put that out there. It was quite a revelation when I was a guest speaker for these camera clubs over the last 6 weeks. Met some fantastic people and yeah, look, it was quite surprising how many people don't print their images. So think about that. If you've got any questions or comments, please put them down below. I'd like to hear from you and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button and the bell next door so you don't miss anything. People that have subscribed to my channel recently, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. We put a lot of effort into our videos, like all the YouTubers here, especially when it comes to photography, and we really appreciate that. A quick shout out to Scotty Man Photos over there in Texas, Michael Scott. Hello mate, how you going? I know Texas has been hammered with tornadoes. I hope you're not in that. I've been to Texas many times, so I know how big and sparse that state of yours is, Michael. So hang in there, my friend, and we'll speak soon. So that's Michael Scott from Scotty Man Photos on YouTube. Check him out. Great channel and a lovely man. So that's it for another episode of Sniper Photography. As I always say, be nice to yourself, family and friends. But most of all, you keep shooting and keep smiling. Bye for now.